Hey everyone, it's ChronicBlaze here and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be unboxing the brand new Xbox wireless controller. So as you probably know, I really like the Xbox One controller. It's actually my favorite controller of all time. But today I thought it would be a good time to upgrade to the brand new Xbox controller. This actually comes with the Xbox Series X, but it is also backwards compatible with the Xbox One, and importantly for me, which is why I bought the 4PC version, it's going to work on PC. But first, let me just tell you a little bit about why I made this decision. So here are my 4 current Xbox controllers. So there's actually problems with each of them. With 3 of them, the controllers are actually pretty broken, and with another one, it's an issue with the layout of the controller. So the very first controller I'll go through is my Xbox One custom controller. I still love this controller. It means a lot to me because I designed it. However, the biggest issue with this controller is, well, for one thing, there's that. Not only is the 3.5mm headphone jack broken, but after about 1,000 hours, probably 800 to 1,000 hours in this controller, the left joystick finally got drift. So I actually can't use this controller anymore. If I'm able to fix this controller, it would be really nice, but I did have to retire it. I might try to do something with this joystick, see if I can fix it in the future, but either way, I probably wouldn't be able to use this one for the long term, so I would still have to get a new controller. Next up, we have one of the standard Xbox One controllers. I got this when I got my Xbox. Now, the biggest issue with this controller is 5-year-old bumper. The plastic decided that it would be a good time to snap. This actually happened on stream a few months ago. I always arrow left in Rocket League every time I flip, so I'll essentially go like this every single time I flip, and that caused the plastic on the left bumper to break. Next controller, very similar thing except with the right bumper. This controller actually broke a few days ago as I'm filming this. This controller is the entire reason why I actually bought the updated Series X controller. Biggest issue is the bumper this time totally snapped off. I can actually pull it off. So because this bumper's toast, this controller is probably the most broken out of all of these. Now again, with these 2 controllers, they can be fixed, but I already didn't really like these controllers anyways. I found dodge dead zone issues compared to the Xbox One S controller that I've been using for so many years. And then the 4th controller that I have is this thing. This is probably the worst out of all of these controllers. It's cool, it does light up. This is the Optical Prismatic controller for Xbox One. The lighting effects are cool, but as you can see, non-standard layout. Again, air rolling almost hurts with this controller because I air roll every single time that I flip in Rocket League. And on top of that, the D-pad is pretty mushy, so it's not very good for 2D games. So all in all, 3 of these controllers have problems with them that for my main game, Rocket League, makes them unusable. These 2 are fixable, but if I end up breaking both the controllers in the process, it's almost not worth the risk. This controller could be fixable, but it wouldn't be long term, and this controller has a non-standard layout. So all of those reasons are why I decided to pick up this, which this is the updated Xbox Series X controller. So I actually did see this controller on a video call with Wildcrafters in the Xbox Series X unboxing video. I'll leave a link to that video in a card. Basically, this controller is pretty cool. It's actually a very minor iteration over the current generation Xbox controller. But one of the cool things is it actually does come with the USB-C cable. I did get this one on purpose just because I knew I would need that cable. Basically, main differences between this controller, you got the hybrid D-pad, the share button, USB-C, textured grips. Basically, it's a very minor iteration over the current Xbox One S controller. Like, these controllers are fairly similar just from looks of things, but let's open up this box. So there we go, the Series X controller. It looks so similar to the current controller. It's actually ridiculous. This feels near identical to the current Xbox controller. I'm not even joking when I say that. That's cool. It comes with the Game Pass Ultimate redeem code. So here's a little bit of a better comparison between the new controller and the old controller. As you can see, they're pretty similar. So there's actually some minor differences. There's not this little ridge here, which I've just become so used to over time. The new controller actually doesn't have that, which almost makes it more similar to the 360 controller, I think. So another thing that they have, as you can see, is these textured triggers. This is cool. I mean, it's actually pretty cool that they have the triggers textured. The triggers I don't notice as much as I thought I would. Honestly, the old plastic is fine. This is a much better design though. I don't really care, to be honest. It's about the same. USB-C is definitely nice to have, but the biggest difference is the D-pad. I don't know which D-pad I prefer. The old One S controller has a less clicky D-pad. What I'd really need to do is go into a ranked game of Rocket League or just a game in general and just see how these controllers feel. So especially when I bring in these 2 controllers, like, this is super similar. Like, honestly, I don't know how much better this controller is going to be, but we're going to find out. One of the biggest things is mainly just the difference in the bumpers. There's more of a curve in the bumpers on the Xbox One S controller than there is on the Series X controller, though. I don't know if that's much of a big deal, but it does kind of give it the similar feel. Like, even if you look at it, you can definitely tell the difference if you look at them side by side. It gives it the feel that it's more like the 360 controller. Okay, so it has been a while since I actually filmed the original unboxing. As you can see, setup's changed a bit. I have this microphone now. But we have a little bit of a problem with this controller. It hasn't been long. It's only been about 2 to 3 months, and this bumper is already busted. So as I'm playing Rocket League, I guess I have a problem where I hit the bumper too hard, and it just snapped. Now, I kind of blame myself on this because I shouldn't have broken the bumper, but the joke is kind of on Microsoft in a way because this controller, it's still under warranty. And I was actually gonna have to return this thing anyways, and I was debating returning it because the Y and the A buttons, when they are pressed at extreme angles, they just don't work. They just casually do not work. It was working fine, but you almost can't recommend anyone this controller if they have to go through this warranty process after only 2 months of having the controller. I'm not even joking. This has already showed up. Now, as you can probably tell, this is a bit of a scuffed recording. My tripod, don't buy this, decided to die literally right as I was about to film this video. I just feel a little smoother, triggers feel more clean. Same issue with the Y button, with it looking a bit offset, but like, I mean, there's not much to see. It's literally just another controller. It's the exact same. So here, just in free play, it feels normal. It feels exactly like my other controller did. It definitely feels a little newer. Obviously, it's a new controller, so you know, you'll obviously get that newer feeling, but the buttons, like, everything seems to be fine. However, I am pressing the Y button right now. I was pressing it very lightly from an extreme angle. Here's the thing though, if I had to get a replacement controller because of a Y button issue, and this new controller still has that Y button issue, granted, yes, the bumper still existed, but the fact that this controller still has that same Y button issue is ridiculous. So my final verdict on the Xbox Series X controller, the Xbox Wireless Controller 2020, is not to get it. The Xbox Wireless Controller is great. They made a ton of minimal changes. The model 1703, which is the Xbox One S controller, is already a great revision, and it doesn't have that same stupid Y button defect. The 1697s I wouldn't get. Those are the original model ones. Not like that great. All the glossy plastic isn't that good. And this controller is good. I'm not saying it's a bad controller. So I've been using the controller for about 5 months now, so I can actually give it a little bit more of an accurate representation of what I actually think the controller is and if I would recommend it. I'd still probably recommend it, especially over the 1703, given that the layout is better, and especially that share button is nice to have on Xbox. But if you're just gonna upgrade from an existing controller, I don't think it's really worth it to do that until your current controller breaks. Also, just keep in mind all the issues that I've had with it, with the whole warranty process and all of that. The controller is definitely not perfect, however, it's still a really solid controller. But that's gonna wrap this video. So if you all did enjoy, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss one of my videos. That's gonna wrap this video. So you all so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.